For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure to select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Here we are at Mackey's second floor studios. I'm Zach, and who do we have here?
Wow, it's a very different intro.
It is. It's very formal. I like it.
And why is it different, Zach? Why is this a different episode?
This is a different episode because it's a special episode with the Simpsons.
That's right. Submersible episode, little Simpsons episode.
Yeah, buddy.
And yeah, so Jamie's here.
Kyle's here.
Brom's here.
Special team diving deep.
Deep, deep, deep.
Occasionally, the USS Wetfloater encounters mysteries even deeper than it can explore. In cases such as these, a crack team of experts board our submersible and plumb the deepest depths of submarine pop culture. This is Mackey's Second Floor Studio presents Submersion, a submersible pod.
Into the deep with Simpson Tide. Does anybody know what season this is from?
No, actually I don't off the top of my head.
This looks really early on in
it
the
does
Simpsons.
Look early, yeah.
So I'd say what? Maybe like, well, wait. When was Crimson Tide? 95 or something?
All right, you got that right, Kyle. Crimson Tide was 95.
Okay, so then this, oh man, what is this, like season
5 or something? Season
7 or season 8?
Ooh, one more.
Season 9?
Yeah, this was season 9.
Wow. Okay.
Episode 19, episode 197 overall on The Simpsons.
Wow.
It's
really?
Original air date was March 29th, 1998.
Dang. Okay, so I didn't think almost 200 episodes in.
Right?
I mean,
I'm about to turn 10 when this came out.
Yeah, you're about to turn 10, and I didn't think it would, still look like this, because it looks really early on in Simpsons.
It does. I think in particular, some of the jokes come across as a little earlier, just because of how abrupt they kind of start and end a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not as smooth, but the second time, well, now at this point, I've watched this like 4 times. Pull back the curtain a little bit. But this time, actually, this time that I watched it, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I felt like it did seem definitely later than I had at first imagined. I imagined it when first time I watched it, the same thing as you. I was like, what is this, like season 2 or 3? Or like, come on,
right.
This is crazy.
It's funny
But
that you guys are...
9 makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny that you guys are talking about this, because season 9, like in the big Simpsons fan world, this is like the season where they say it's going downhill. Like this is where you like, if you talk to Simpsons fans, they're going to say, I love the Simpsons, but only the first 8 or 9 seasons. And then everything else is trash. So this
Interesting.
This is the season where we have so this episode, the showrunners for this animated episode are Al Jean and Mike Reiss. Al Jean and Mike Reiss were the main guys on The Simpsons, like seasons 3, seasons 4. I'm pretty sure Al Jean or Mike Reiss, one of them, come back and take over the show back at season 13. Mm-hmm. But so they were kind of leading this episode, but the season itself is when everyone's like, it kind of jumps the shark, and goes downhill.
I mean, I guess this was right around the time that I would have. Me watching it every Sunday was starting to flag. This would have been just around that time.
When you started to watch it, Jamie, or you stopped watching it?
No. When it started to be something that like not every Sunday I was making sure to watch it. Yeah. Because like by the time I got to high school, I was starting to not really watch it all that much. But this would have been right around when I was still watching it, probably pretty consistently, but right before that ended. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this episode. I mean, I remember this season 9, and even thinking like it's kind of weird. There's still some funny episodes in this season, but it starts going downhill. Kyle, did you ever watch The Simpsons? You a big Simpsons guy?
So I did watch, when Jamie had mentioned that, I was trying to think about when I watched it, because I used to watch it, a decent amount. At first, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. Oh, man, it was edgy and stuff.
That was my next question about if any of us weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I watched all of them. Yeah, I was able to watch anything.
well, it must be nice, man.
Yeah, I remember watching South Park when it first came out, and I would have not been particularly that old. I guess it happens because I have like 4 older brothers or 3 older brothers and a twin brother. So there's like a bunch of boys in the house, and it just was impossible, I think, to stop us.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
But they'd given up by the time it got to us.
I did watch for a while. One episode that I really remember in particular, I don't know if anybody else remembers this, is when Homer starts growing tobacco.
Right. Yep.
It's like tomatoes mixed with tobacco. I was trying to look up what season that was in, if that was before or after this.
I'm going to guess that. I remember watching it live. I hated it. I'm going to guess season 10.
All right. I'm going to look
find
it
for this.
Find it up, Kyle. Because I remember that, because I'm pretty sure even they start getting those really, really wacky jokes. Like the cow in that episode even says tobacco, I think, because it's so addicted to it. You remember that, Kyle?
Oh, really? Yeah, I remember like animals getting crazed and stuff.
Yeah. Ben, did you watch any Simpsons? Were you allowed, not allowed?
I did not. I got onto South Park at a pretty young age, though. So I think I was probably allowed. I just never really was drawn to it.
I remember growing up with my dad watching it. He loved it. He let me watch it, but my mom was the one. I mean, if it was up to her, I wouldn't have been able to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I loved all of it. I mean, pretty much it was the classic case of truly being able to put another show near The Simpsons, and I was probably watching it as well, just because I'd watched the whole thing, like whole 2 hours that they'd put up.
I remember the Simpsons video games. I really loved. I had the Nintendo Entertainment System and had was it like Bartman or something like that? It was like Bart as a superhero. It was Bart as a superhero. I remember the junkyard. It was like the very first level. I could never get past it. And there's also one where you got into Krusty the Clown's like factory, and that one I was able to make it much further in the game. And man, those were awesome. And of course, the arcade. Man, completely forgot about that one. The arcade game for this. One of the best. Kyle, you and I actually played that not too long ago. Did a full playthrough when we were up in Toledo a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. We were at a barcade where basically you can start drinking. You can play any game for free except for Mario Kart. Remember that? We had to pay quarters for that.
Yeah, that's right. Because that was like almost not quite virtual reality, but it had extra peripherals where you actually were like in a Mario Kart. It was a huge spectacle.
Yeah, dude, you were like sitting in the car driving. But yeah, we were playing that Simpsons game, man, and
that's
like a good time.
That's a classic one. That's in almost all the arcade bars in Columbus. Is that Simpsons one? I mean, I remember wasting tons of money on that when I was a kid, going to the local mall playing that game. It's hard.
Yeah,
it is.
Like, I mean,
luckily it was free for us.
Yeah, if it's nice. If it wasn't free, you could easily sink probably $20 into it, not more.
And not even beat it,
right? Do you have any big memories from that game?
I always remember the big fat wrestler was like the first boss.
Yeah.
And then the hot air balloon with Krusty's face.
Yep. It was like a little mini game.
Yeah, I remember it being one of the only games at one of the ice arenas that we'd go to as a kid all the time on hockey trips and stuff. And that's where they'd have it there. And my hometown ice arena didn't have really any of that shit, so it was always like a treat. You'd be there,
yes,
you'd be waiting for your game or to get ready for your game, and then you'd play the shit out of the Simpsons arcade.
And it was cool because it was 4-player, so you know, there's more like Mortal Kombat was always 2 players, but a 4-player multiplayer thing at an arcade, that was, at least in my area, pretty unheard of.
Yeah, well, dude, think about how hard it is to crowd 4 adults around a tiny arcade screen, smashing buttons, getting into it. Like,
greasy fingers.
Yeah, beers all over the place.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys remember that one? It was like that game Crazy Taxi, but it was the Simpsons one. Or maybe it was that.
So there was those 2. Okay, so that's great you brought that up, Kyle, because there was 2 of them. There was that one, and then there was the one that was like Grand Theft Auto.
They made one like that?
Remember
for Simpsons?
Simpsons, there was Simpsons Hit and Run. That was the one that was like, I think that was the Crazy Taxi one.
Okay.
And then there was Simpsons, it was all on the PS2, Simpsons PS2 games. What's the other big one? Road Rage.
Oh.
No, okay. So Road Rage was the Crazy Taxi one.
I remember that one.
Yep, because that's when you drive around, pick up characters from the show, and you take them to places in Springfield. Simpsons Hit and Run was like Grand Theft Auto style Simpsons, where it's like an open world, there were missions, and you could like keep unlocking parts of the map of Springfield.
It's got a pretty high rating, like I'm not going to lie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's one I wish they'd like bring back on the virtual PlayStation console or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Or if they, now a lot they've been like remastering games. They need to bring some of these back.
It'd be sweet. Because, I mean, I remember Hit and Run had like, it came out in 2003, I'm reading, but all the jokes in that were probably from the first 8 or 9 seasons. So again, what a lot of people say are the best seasons of The Simpsons.
But not you. You say season 21. Best
Yeah, of course.
season.
Boom. I did look up the Tamaco episode. That is
Season
from
10?
November 7th or something, 99. So I would think that is season 10.
Wow,
Nice.
good call. It's literally just that episode. That's why everyone's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Season 9's tobacco.
It's just like burned
Fuck that.
into my memory for some reason.
Well, remember like when the tomatoes, they bit into them, it was just straight brown shit was inside.
Yeah,
of
it was
them.
like it's just tobacco.
Yeah.
But tobacco when it's grown isn't brown like that. Whatever.
So should we get into the episode at hand?
Yeah, let's start.
No, never. Okay.
So we got, again, Simpson Tide, 98.
Yes.
Special guest voices, there's 2. We have Bob Denver, who plays himself.
So
and,
strange.
And Rod Steiger, he was famous for In the Heat of the Night, but don't worry, he's dead. He died in 2002.
I think it's Rod Steiger.
Oh, Steiger.
Yeah.
The episode was written by Josh Sternin and Jeff Ventimiglia. It's the second episode and last episode that those two would write together. And it was directed by Milton Gray, and it's the only episode he was ever allowed to direct. So,
Wow.
there you go.
Wow. A one and done situation.
They were like, no thanks.
All right, so
Yeah.
Simpson Tide. Does anybody want to say the trivia with the title?
The trivia with the title?
Well, I think we kind of already alluded to it
Yeah.
because I'd mentioned when Crimson Tide came out.
Right.
It's been a long while since we watched that movie, but I don't think this is really that close to that
No, it's
movie.
not. It's not particularly close. There were a couple scenes. I think
Yeah.
we'll get to it. The dinner scene is actually
Yeah.
very similar, very, very similar to that. Apparently, they actually started writing this before Crimson Tide came out. And then when it came out, they rewrote certain scenes to
Really?
be more similar to it. Yeah.
Bingo, Jamie. Yeah, that was something I was going to say. Yeah, they made this before the movie came out and went back and did a bunch of edits to try to tie it in better. So
You can see it. There'd be no way they would have landed on that dinner scene just randomly. Oh shit.
Yeah, that'd be really odd.
That went crazy.
So the episode opens up as any Simpsons episode does with the couch gag. Who knows what the couch gag was for this one?
Did you recall? I mean, I do know.
I mean, man, I just watched it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because
remember
it's
the
not
flowers.
necessarily.
I remember there was flowers sprouting up out of the ground, and
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's a play on Rocky and Bullwinkle.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah, the opening. to
Yeah.
Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, it's not necessarily even if you just saw it, you wouldn't necessarily know it's from that show because it's kind of an old reference.
Yeah, exactly. Rocky and Bullwinkle's an older show, older animation, but they actually were able to get the rights to the original music. So that's the original Rocky and Bullwinkle theme, which I've got right here.
I think we got a new theme song.
There it is.
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. What was on the chalkboard again? Because that's the other gag that happens in the beginning. What do you write on the chalkboard for this one?
So the
remember
chalkboard
that?
gag was "My butt does not deserve its own website."
Right. Okay. Oh, well,
That's what it said?
Up on it, 1990.
That's the thing. Yeah, this is 98, so we're getting that .com bubble. So
It's also funny because probably his butt did deserve a website.
Well, dude, they even showcase his butt later in this episode on the bus.
When he's doing the Bartman.
The butt bus.
Right.
butt bus.
Yeah, the butt bus?
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's not what it's called.
So the episode opens up. We got Homer. It's a fantasy, and it's another. So right out of the gate, we have Rocky and Bullwinkle reference and another movie reference. Which one's this? Does anybody know?
Planet of the Apes, but
There
it's not
you
apes
go.
in this case.
What is it, Jamie?
It is donuts. Classic
Yeah.
Homer.
Classic Homer, playing with the donuts, eating donuts. He's on trial. He wakes up and we see that he's just sleeping at work. And he walks to get a donut, only to drool on that donut. And his buddies Lenny and Carl are there. They're mad at him, but Homer decides to put the donut in the reactor core to make it bigger. So they all can eat it.
There was a funny gag here too, where it goes, it worked for my hand. This is some random person. It worked for my hand, and then he brings up his hand. It looks totally normal. He goes, "Oh, wait, not this one." And he brings up his giant hand.
Yeah. And then it's so heavy it throws him to the ground.
Yeah,
As if you would forget which hand it was.
a very simple, and that's the funny part, because that's like the first joke like that, but there's tons of jokes like that in this episode. It's like a bunch of quick, small jokes.
Really, really quick jokes, yeah. And some of them don't. I mean, we'll get to some of them, but I felt like some didn't pay off, and then all of a sudden at the end, when it was just that quick, I'd be like, "Oh, actually, that was funny," but only at the end. After they did a joke that took up like a chunk of time.
Yeah, I'm looking
Kinda
forward to the
strange.
ratings for this, because some of them really don't. At least for me, they did not make me laugh at all. But some were definitely really funny and still quotable to this day.
Yeah. That hand one did make me laugh, so I'll put a little check mark next to me for jokes like
there
that.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
So after the donut on the reactor, we cut scenes to 10 minutes later, and we find out that the nuclear power plant is on fire. Smithers finds the donut, and Homer is called out, and he uses the excuse it's his first day, which comes up later in the episode.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah. Burns believes him. And that, okay. And so this joke, so there's two jokes here. One, it's the whole first day joke, which was funny. But then this is one of the most popular jokes in The Simpsons, is that Mr. Burns continually forgets who Homer Simpson is, and he never recognizes him.
Right.
So he
And so
believes
he's
him.
able to use, he believes him that it's his first day, but Smithers corrects him quickly. He's like, that is Homer Simpson. How long is he? He said
10
he
years.
works here for 10 years. Yeah.
10 years. And I've got the
So
sound
almost as long as your age, right? You just said you were almost 10, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you say you had a sound clip for
You
it?
did this? How could you be so irresponsible?
It's my first day.
Since I've never seen you before, maybe it is your first day. Very well, carry on.
Sir, that's Homer Simpson. He's been working here for 10 years.
Oh, really? Why did you think you could lie to me?
It's my first day.
Well, why didn't you say, go, whoa, you're fired.
All right. That's one of my favorite jokes in the episode.
That was very good. That was one of my favorites as
Yeah,
well.
that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
The voice actors did a great job. I liked Smithers when he emphasized he's been working here for 10 years. And then Burns, whoa-ho, cracked me up.
Reminded me of Jamie, actually. I don't know why.
Whoa.
Oh!
Let's hear the impressions.
That's her. He's been working here for 10 years. I feel like Brom could do a Smithers voice.
Probably, yeah.
I would. I need the line. Give me a line.
Oh, it's perfect.
Dude, it sounds like
it's
it right
perfect.
there.
It's like,
Nailed it.
perfect. Nailed a Smithers impression right there. Yeah, so then he is fired.
Yeah,
Right,
this
that's
is
what
one
we
of the
come
few
to find out.
times, Homer gets fired on screen. Normally when they do these Homer gets a new job episodes, because this is almost one a season, Homer gets a new job. They don't ever explain why he doesn't need to go to the nuclear power plant. He just does a new job. But in this one, he gets fired.
Right.
So we cut back to the Simpsons home, where Homer's on the couch watching exploitation theater. Now,
this was
very good.
This is like one of my favorite jokes.
yeah, I had to look this one up. Do you guys somebody want to take this about the reference here and what it means?
Well, I mean, they mentioned Blackula, right? Is it Blackula? And then what was the other ones?
Blackenstein.
Blackenstein, maybe? Yeah. I mean,
And
because this is
Night
what
of
exploitation is.
Was it like a Night of the Living Dead?
I
was
can't
like-
remember. But
Something.
yeah, but they made a lot of these types of movies back in like the 70s and stuff like that. And they're called exploitation films, where it would just basically be like a famous thing, but then they would make that person black. So Dracula would become Blackula.
That's exactly what I looked up, because I didn't really get it. I was like, okay, I mean, Homer's watching like the BET network or something.
Oh, I
but
got it.
I didn't get it. It was the
Next on Exploitation Theater, Blackula, followed by Blackenstein and the Blunch Black of Bloater Blame.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like those stereotypical characters with funky music, which Homer even says, funky.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he also sees a commercial for the Naval Reserve, and it starts off being like, greatest heroes, they're like fighting for America. Well, you are, washing the statue, basically.
In Lubbock, Texas.
In Lubbock,
You're nowhere
Texas.
near the ocean.
And you're basically shit-faced the whole time.
I've got the commercial right here. Here we go.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Daybreak. Jakarta. The proud men and women of the Navy are fighting for freedom. But you're in Lubbock, Texas, hosing the stains off a monument. You're in the Naval Reserve, America's 17th line of defense between the Mississippi National Guard and the League of Women Voters. After basic training, you'll only have to work 1 weekend a month, and most of that time, you're drunk off your ass.
That was like my favorite part of the episode is 17th line of defense between the Mississippi National Guard and the League of Women Voters.
And he asked Lisa whether she would be proud of him if he joined the Naval Reserve. And she's basically like, eh.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll do it. And off he goes.
Lisa gives a great response there, just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
So here's a good joke. So now we jump to Homer, just bam, he's going to join the Navy Reserves. He goes down to sign up. And here's the don't ask, don't tell policy. So here's like their jabs at Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that was the whole don't ask, don't tell proposed. Bill Clinton wanted to allow gays in the armed forces as long as they were not openly gay in the military. So armed forces, they were no longer allowed to ask if soldiers were gay. So that was the joke.
Who's Bill Clinton?
Never heard of him.
Ben, do you know who he is?
Who's that?
Billy Clinton? Billy Joel Clinton?
Oh, Billy Joel is a musician.
Oh, interesting. I can't believe he had so much power over the U.S. military.
Yeah.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
It's a perfect Billy Joel impression.
Yeah.
But yeah, because basically there's a question crossed out on the sign-up sheet, and it's about basically implying that the question is, are you gay? And he's like, oh, I think I can make it out. And the guy's like, oh, don't say it, don't say it. And then like walks away. He goes, oh, what a nice fellow. I wonder if he's gay.
The first of a few homosexual jokes in this episode.
There is, actually. I was a little surprised. It's just, the frequency in which
Yeah.
they made
98,
jokes,
it was
but-
different times.
It was. And Ben, that's a great transition to the next joke they use. So when they cut back to the Simpsons home, Homer and Marge are having like that moment in the episode where Marge is concerned about Homer joining and worried about his health. And we get a clapper joke
Yeah.
with the lights.
Yeah. I wanted one of those, like the clapper lights, so bad when I was a kid. It's like, gosh, that would be
This was
amazing.
a 90s thing, right? I mean, I don't ever hear about these anymore.
I don't know, man. Let's see if we can find one.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's clapping. I did like the joke in here where he's clapping and Marge is telling him like, we don't have a clapper. And he's like, I can't hear you. I'm clapping.
Again, he's just ignoring Marge.
Yeah. And then he throws the lamp out the window. Which
Yep.
is yeah. Funny joke.
And that's it. It makes you wonder if kids would even get it now. Kyle, have you
Yeah.
found anything?
I think I can get a. Well, this looks like a new age one. So
Is
I
it
don't
a
think that's.
smart
Oh, here we
clapper?
go. Oh yeah, dude. You can get outlet clappers, man. You can still get these at Target, on Amazon.
How much does a clapper go for?
This one, the outlet is only $16.50. And let's see, it looks like the light is about $20.
Wow. So that's like
It's pretty good, man. I don't know. I didn't know I've been living like a peasant for so long when I could just elevate myself to that next level for almost nothing. There's only one in stock.
whoa. There's only one. I mean, that's about the
On
price.
Amazon.
That's about the price of a very hard to find submarine film.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what else happens? Barney and Moe decide
Yeah.
to join him.
This
They
is
have
a
kinda
big, big scene here, yeah.
Yeah, so that he goes to Moe's and Moe and Barney are like, Barney's like, I'm not going to let my best friend go without me. And then Moe's like, I'm not going to let my best customers go.
Yep. And then
Without me.
Apu's there for some reason.
And he says, even though my religion prevents me from conflict or something, I'm going to join.
Which is an inaccuracy for he's Hindu. That's
Right.
not true, but
Right. Whatever. Yeah, they are. It's not necessarily Apu's characterization has not aged particularly well over the years.
We definitely know that over the last, I think, was it the last year? Or was it 2 years ago? Yeah, they had all that. Everyone is huffing and puffing about it.
I heard they're changing his character this year.
Yep.
Are they really?
A lot of divided opinions on that in the world of Simpsons fans.
And then Mo briefly goes back into the back room and breaks up a Deer Hunter-esque Russian roulette game. That joke, again, this is one of the jokes that did not land for me because it didn't make... I mean, they just threw it in there, Deer Hunter parody. Okay. Right. But then Krusty and Skinner, like the two characters they picked, have just so anything not close to being... Yeah, it seems like
anything
strange.
In common. Yeah, it was like a forced joke. And then that's it. They leave. So then it's just like, all right, so Homer's joining and here's three of his friends. Like, that's it.
You would have thought it would have been Groundskeeper Willie or something like that. He may have made sense back there.
Yeah, I agree. He's more of a
Willie and
shadier
Krusty
character.
or no?
I don't know about Krusty. You need Willie and someone else.
Yeah,
Flanders.
Skinner. The joke about Skinner is that he's like a do-good nobody that sharpens pencils in his free time. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
So off they go.
Basic training.
When they go to the basic training, yeah.
Yep. So basic training, we get a small joke about Bart asking Homer for a torpedo. Homer says no, and then Bart says, Flanders kid's got one, and that's all Homer needed to hear.
He's like, I will bring you a weapon of unimaginable destruction.
Yep.
That was funny.
So now we've got Homer, Barney, Apu, and Mo at basic training, and we have a first appearance of a character here. Barney's mom is here.
Right.
So this is the only episode we get to see Barney's mom in The Simpsons ever.
Wow.
And she's apparently dead. Because in a later season, Barney mentions visiting her grave once. So
dang.
Yep.
How sad.
And we'll see.
She's
her
an officer in the Navy, so protecting our country probably.
Yeah. Then they have the joke about the hair getting buzzed off and Homer's two hairs, and he screams he's
like,
a
my
freak.
hair is who I am.
Not inaccurate. I mean, it's one of his signatures.
Yeah. 2 strands of hair.
Yep.
So then we go to Homer. And so this is like where a lot of those quick cut jokes start. I mean, they rush through basic training like there's no tomorrow. So we have Homer.
Yeah, really rush through it. It's kind of crazy. Especially when they get to graduation. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah. I think it's like a whole 2 minutes here. So Homer doesn't tie the ship up. The ship goes off a waterfall.
That was my least favorite joke. I thought that was just really dumb and bad.
Stupid.
I agree.
I don't understand it or why it would be in here.
Ben, did you like it?
No.
Yep. That's 4 thumbs down from the Submersion gang.
Wow. Or was it 8 thumbs down?
Oh, shit.
Well, no, we have to have our other hands free, Kyle, for our drinks.
Oh,
naturally.
That's what we use those for.
Yeah.
It's my left hand. Oh, what have you been using yours for?
Okay.
Let's just keep moving on.
PG podcast. So then that's it, though, pretty much. It goes to them graduating the Naval Reserves. They throw up their hats, and then we get 2 quick jokes about 2 other groups that are graduating the same day, and then the hats go upside down. I think it was World War II reenactors or something?
World War
One.
Yeah.
And then the other one were pastry chefs.
Chefs, and then World War I reenactment.
And then that's it.
Reenactment.
Those the Germans with the
the
spikes on their helmet.
Yeah, German reenactors. That's it. And then that's it. They go, uh-oh, and screen goes to black. That's into the first act. And then we get the second act of this episode opens up with the B plot, which I think is one of the weakest B plots I can remember on The Simpsons. Milhouse getting an earring.
Yeah.
And so does everyone else. And eventually Bart does too.
Right. And there was a funny scene where he went onto the bus because Milhouse had his earring and he goes on the bus and everyone's like basically cheering him.
Well, right before, though, Bart was also like, that is so stupid. He's like, my mom wears earrings.
And then do you remember what he says?
He's like, well, I think he's like, do you think my mom's cool? He's like, I think your mom is hot.
Yeah.
And so then he goes on the bus and everyone's like cheering like crazy because how cool Milhouse is all of a sudden. So Bart goes on and tries to do the Bartman dance, which was a dance from season 2 or something.
Yeah.
Like a really long time ago.
It's very...
So it's supposed to be doing something that's like pretty obviously old and not cool. And everyone's just like, that's lame.
And that's why they even have Ralph Wiggum even say that was so 1991. It was a very meta joke.
Yeah. And so now he's feeling pretty bad about himself and wants to get an earring.
Exactly. But then we come back to the love scene of the episode between Marge and Homer in bed.
That's right.
This is hot, man.
Yeah, hot stuff.
Why is it hot,
Anytime
Kyle?
you involve a sword in the bedroom, things are heating up.
I'll bet they're off.
Yeah.
Better hope that thing doesn't bounce the wrong direction, am I right?
Oh, you better lube that thing up.
Throw the birth
God.
control out because
Sorry.
it ain't working.
No.
Not when a sword's involved.
Probably. So we cut to another scene, which literally the only reason this is even in the episode is for a JFK joke. And I think, my opinion, it's a weak JFK joke. But
I agree.
It's the so they're at the Veterans Building. They're just telling war stories. Homer doesn't say anything. His dad, Abraham Simpson's the only one telling a war story about JFK being a Nazi. And this is stupid, in my opinion, because the speech, okay, so the speech is JFK saying it, Ich bin ein Berliner, but it's the flashback shows JFK on a ship when in reality he was never even on a ship. He was in Berlin giving that speech, and then Abe thinks he's a Nazi because he's speaking German. I don't know.
Right.
I didn't like
so,
it.
I mean, there was some background. I mean, JFK, one of the ways, I mean, besides being from like political royalty, he did become famous for saving a whole bunch of people on PT 109 or whatever. So he was like super famous from his exploits in World War II. And this was kind of supposed to be like a joke on the fact that he was like a war hero on this particular boat. And the only story that Abe Simpson has is beating the shit out of him like a war hero.
Because he's a Nazi.
Yeah. It's like how JFK fucked up his back and had to, he was like on massive amounts of painkillers like while he was president because of how like messed up his back was.
Because of Abe Simpson?
No, wait,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's how it's the only thing we can think now.
So did this just go from worst to first?
No,
You're
this is
right.
actually, it was a bad joke, but it didn't make sense. Like the
Fine.
line doesn't make sense in the context.
I agree.
Like, why would JFK be on this boat saying Ich bin ein Berliner in the middle of fighting a war against the Nazis? It seems so strange. Whatever.
So then we cut to another joke. Bam, we get Bob Denver. I'm about 90% sure on this. I think this is like the only time he's done like an animated voice. And he's playing himself. It's just him as Bob Denver, and he's the one speaking to the Naval Reserves. I've got the clip here. It's really long.
And another thing, when people come up to me and say, "Hey, little buddy," and hit me over the head with a hat, that's not funny. That hurts. Stop laughing at me.
That's it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. That's Bob Denver.
That is
for you.
it.
Yeah. I guess it's supposed to be that he is supposed to be a comedian, but his entire shtick is just saying that he doesn't want to be hit, and everyone's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, I mean, I think the laugh track they used was funnier than anything Bob Denver said.
Yeah.
Did anybody laugh at that?
No.
I mean, I think isn't that the point though? I think it's supposed to be he's not actually making any jokes.
Because at this time, right next door at the so they're at like the banquet for the U.S. Naval Reserves,
Right.
and right next door for like the actual, like not actual, but the U.S. Navy like active members, it's like Bob Hope and
yeah.
somebody else really big, and then they get Bob Denver and somebody smaller.
So okay, I could see that. The writers are sitting around the room like, all right, if we don't have Bob Denver or Bob Hope, who can we get?
Oh, well, we can
Bob
get Bob
Denver.
Denver.
And then Bob
the hell's
Denver
that guy
doesn't even understand that he's supposed to be entertaining people, so he's just complaining,
Yeah,
and everyone's laughing at him.
there we go. All right.
Yeah.
That bumped it up a little bit for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
So now we got Homer, and he's mad at Bart about his earring. Question: did any of you guys have your ears pierced?
Yes.
You did, Ben?
Yep.
Tell us more.
I pierced my left ear in college. And got infected and sealed shut, and that was the last of that.
When was that? Because we all went to college together. I don't remember that.
I think it was freshman year. So it would have been
okay.
2008.
Did you do it yourself, Ben?
No, I went to a jewelry store here in town, and I put in an old earring after I thought I was good to go, and the old earring, I guess, kind of got it all infected, and it was a nightmare, and I had to like pry it out. It kind of like fused with my ear, and yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
Ouch.
Yep.
Wow.
Now I never had my ears pierced, but I did have my lip pierced twice. I had the snake bite for a minute.
You had the snake bite, Kyle?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're just talking about ears, then the answer is no. But if we're talking about other places,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That was before college.
No. This was I think it was like freshman year. There was some kind of tattoo parlor in Bowling Green running a special. I think it was like the special was like $5, anything above the waist.
Oh my gosh.
That was a special. So I got a snake bite for $10.
nips.
I don't remember that at all,
Yeah.
Kyle.
You should have done nips.
I'm not doing nips.
Okay.
How long? I even got a photo of it.
How long ago? You got to put that in our new Discord fan Discord.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody be sure to check that out. Yeah, it was I didn't have it super long, and I made some of the worst mistakes when I had that. It was like the very first time I'd ever had well, I didn't know what
Sex?
B-dubs was. I never knew what it was. So I was eating hot wings with these freshly pierced lips. Oh my God. That hurt bad.
I can imagine.
Real bad.
I can't. I've never had a piercing.
I've never had a hot wing.
The worst part was the worst part, like Brom mentioned, is when it would like kind of get infected because you have to like rotate them all the time, so it would try to heal. And when it's on your lips heal super fast. So you're like always rotating it. You always have this thing in your mouth.
Yeah. That'd be gross. Couldn't do it.
So at this point, he ends up now he's going on to the submarine, right?
Yes. So yeah, Homer's mad at Bart about the earring, yells at him. He goes to school, and then it cuts back to the B plot where Bart goes to school when he got his earring pierced, and then everybody else already has.
Everyone has it,
and
yeah.
that's
So it's
just-
not cool
that's-
anymore.
That's it. Yeah, it's not cool anymore. I think there was a joke here about. I think Skinner questioned Milhouse about the dress code.
Whether he can have an earring or not, and he says, in the rules, you can only have an earring if you're of gypsy heritage. And he goes, "Well, I'm a gypsy." And he goes, "Prove it." And then he does an impression of a vampire, and he goes, "That's not a gypsy, that's a vampire." And then he looks in the rule book and goes, "But they're also covered," and walks away.
Again, yeah, not funny to me. Weak.
No,
I thought.
no.
Weak joke. But then, yeah, so then I literally think that's it for the B plot.
I think that's it. Yeah, basically, Homer takes the earring away from him before going on the submarine, and that's all you need to know about the B plot at that point.
Now, here's one of the more quotable lines from this episode. So the war games are announced, right? And they're going to put Homer Simpson on a nuclear submarine. And we have Homer pronouncing the word nuclear right now.
Next weekend, we're having our annual war games. Now, Simpson, because of your many years as a nuclear technician, we're putting you on a nuclear sub.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Oh, whatever.
Is that correct?
I don't even think it is correct, isn't it? Isn't it nuclear?
Nuclear.
I would assume it's nuclear.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I would think it's nuclear. Yeah. Well,
I think it's just a joke about Homer. Homer is an idiot, and this is what he's in charge of.
Yeah, that did not land with me. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be that he was mispronouncing it or supposed to be that he was just being, that's the only thing he knows about nuclear power is how to pronounce it. I couldn't tell what the joke was because honestly, like, it seems very subtle to me, the differences between what people were saying.
Are you even a scientist like
I
you
don't know.
claim to be?
Whatever.
All right, so next scene, Homer's about to leave. He gets the earring from Bart. He listens to the captain speak. Now, this is probably my second favorite part of the episode.
I'm a man of few words. Any questions?
Is the poop deck really what I think it is?
I like the cut of your jib.
What's a jib?
Promote that man.
All right.
Right.
I like the
I did
man.
like that.
I like the man of few words joke. That was funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
And so he gets promoted, and now he's like kind of almost like second in command, or I guess he's just kind of like in the officer circle.
Yep.
On the
And
submarine.
So this is the first introduction of the captain, though. Oh my God, Kyle! This is the first introduction of the captain. And now who's he supposed to be though? Like, who's the Simpsons captain a spoof of?
Gene Hackman.
There you go. And that's the episode, folks. Tune in next week.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, and they even have it. It's like ripped straight out of Crimson Tide. It's like raining as he makes the speech and stuff like that. And this is where they would have said like "Roll Tide" or whatever in Crimson Tide.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what the original episode is even written about. I guess in the original they were going to have Bart sneak on the sub with them.
That's what I read. Comedy. I read that it was supposed to be, but they couldn't get it to work. They just thought it would have been a funny thing if Bart being on the sub, but they couldn't figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, so they just
without the whole thing
said no.
So anyways, they go off on their war games and everything is just running along, but then they're at a dinner, right?
Whoa, wait, Jamie.
Oh, we skipped something?
Sorry to cut in here, but we have a significant joke here that we missed. And this is the In the Navy song joke. Because this joke went on for 30 seconds straight, which is a pretty long time.
This was my least favorite one, actually.
So I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. The captain says, we always listen to this song when we're about to leave port, and it's the In the Navy song by the Village People with, of course, they're going to show Smithers dancing on the sub in the ocean with them.
Right.
Because, Smithers is gay, and it's funny. But then the joke, so they animated the Village People here, right?
Right.
But the police officer in the Village People, in real life, he's black. And in the Simpsons world, they animated him yellow, which is, in the Simpsons world, white. So that was a big kind of screw up that they've gotten flack for.
For whitewashing the Village People.
Yeah. Now, do I think it's a big deal? I mean, whatever. But it's one of those things. And of course, we've got this. And apparently they all died.
Right, yeah.
Because they're left on top of the deck and the sub goes under.
Right.
Yeah. Now we have the dinner scene.
Yeah, so in the dinner, it basically it's straight out of Crimson Tide at this point because they're making all these jokes directly in reference to it. Because they're talking about Homer's really hungry, and so he's asked to join the table, and he really wants peas, but they think he's saying he really wants peace. And the captain's kind of laughing, like, "Oh, peace, like that's great, but how do you attain it?" And then he's like, "What's the best way to get it?" And Homer's eating the peas with a knife. He says, "Oh, with a knife." And he goes, "Exactly. I like this guy." And he's like super into Homer. And then he gets like a call or gets like a report saying that the torpedo is jammed. And so he's like, "I'll go down and check it," which was really strange. It's a very strange thing just from a submarine point of view, that the captain would be someone who's going to check like a clogged torpedo tube.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a cartoon.
I mean,
it's pretty
again,
crazy.
This is forced that it's like, all right, we got to get rid of the captain. How are we going to do it? And I even read online, like in some trivia, that's like they didn't know how to get rid of the captain. So they were like, let's just have him launch out of a torpedo tube.
Because it's exactly what happens. Because while he's away, Homer is given captainship, which is ridiculous. And then he gets down to the captain gets down there. Barney has filled up the torpedo tube with like chips and beer.
Yeah.
And so he's climbing in to clean that all out, but gets trapped in there. And then there's an enemy ship somehow. I'm not even sure why or where. I guess it's technically that's the War Games, right? It's the American ship, but it's the enemy ship.
I don't know. Was it even American?
I don't know. Because then it seems like, remember that it seems like they're American when it flashes into that submarine.
I mean, they're speaking normal English, so.
Yeah. I think it must be the War Games, but then they're like, what are we going to do? And the Homer thinks, what would the captain do? And he like, obviously, this was actually the first animated penis ever shown on TV is when he pulled his captain dick out.
First one?
Ever, yeah. And because they were actually, by law, they have to. If he's a captain of a submarine.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's crazy. A little known fact. But then he says, launch the torpedo. And so he shoots the captain out.
And so Homer's direction literally kills the guy. He's dead. Captain's dead.
He's dead now. So there's actually there's a huge number of people dead at this point because all of those people on that ship he didn't tie up died.
Yep.
And then the Village People died. And then now he just killed the captain. Yeah.
Yep. So the captain's dead. The enemy sub fires back. They hit the sub that Homer's in charge of. And then there's like a little joke with like it's like elevator music, right? The music's playing, the lights come back on. Homer yells "Doe," his classic line when they find out that you just launched the captain out of the tube. Homer's in charge. And this is another 90s joke right here. Asks Mo, what's out? And then asks, what's in? And Mo responds, iced blended mocha drinks and David Schwimmer.
Yeah. And he says, oh, David Schwimmer, he is handsome in that kind of ugly way.
Just not incorrect.
Yeah, it's that is actually kind of a funny joke. But it was actually the second coffee joke of the episode. It's also a Starbucks joke earlier on. But
yeah, there was a Starbucks in Starhouse. Oh, did I miss that one? I had stats about the Starbucks. Oh, yeah. Whatever. And we also get a Star Trek joke at some point here.
Right, because he's like, okay, we're just going to turn around and go home. And Sulu's there. That's his name, right? Sulu?
Yep, Mr. Sulu.
And Mr. Sulu, Mr. Sulu is going to be navigating them home. And Homer's getting them home. They're going straight towards Springfield, which is apparently on the coast. And then at the very last minute, they turn and head back out into the ocean and deep into Russian territory.
This
is where the episode goes totally off the rails.
Yep.
Because they're in Russian territory and we flash over to the UN and all of a sudden they have this long sequence of Russia becoming the Soviet Union again.
Yeah. So it flashes to the news. They say Homer's hijacked a nuclear sub. They interview Grandpa.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I got this quick clip.
Could Homer Simpson be a communist? His father spoke out on his behalf.
My Homer is not a communist. He may be a liar, a pig, an idiot, a communist, but he is not a porn star.
Yeah, I like that.
I also like the intro to the news was, it's treason season has started early this year.
So the Soviet Union comes back. The Berlin Wall shoots back up out of the ground. Lenin comes back to life and is walking amok. And Skinner's
must destroy capitalism.
Cuts to Skinner talking to the school on who to save and the bomb shelter. So all those Cold War jokes come back.
Right.
We get depth charges. So here comes the sub stuff. We get depth charges. The sub's flooding.
And they have a pinhole leak. How are they going to plug that?
Pinhole. But we also have a joke when Barney calls Homer about the water. Did anybody remember this one?
Oh, he said, yeah, there's some clear, non-alcoholic liquid
I love
that's really flooding in.
You mean Homer's water?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I laughed at that. I like that joke.
And then they say to just think about your loved ones. And so Mo thinks of his cat, which is very cute.
Cute, but doesn't, again, these are forced, stupid jokes, I think. I mean, that's just no sense in the world. And then Apu with the cigarette machine.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you, Ben?
Yeah.
And then Homer thinks of his family, and Bart's there with his earring, and he gets angry, and then it flashes over. Yeah, and then it flashes over to Barney, and he thinks of Barney telling him there's a pinhole leak, and then it goes back to Bart, who makes him mad again. But then he remembers, oh wait, the earring.
I've got the earring.
Yeah.
And then they do that intense scene with Homer swim. It's like slow moving through the water. Like the music gets epic here, and he's just to fill a pinhole to save the entire nuclear submarine.
And then they head up, and things aren't looking so hot yet because they're surrounded.
Yeah, Homer fixes the hole. They surface. He uses a joke from the beginning. So they're circled by all these different countries, and Homer uses the same joke from the beginning of the episode that it's his first day, and they all laugh.
Including the penguins from the USS Antarctica.
Oh, exactly. He says it in every single different language.
Quack, quack,
penguin
quack.
language.
And then the penguins. Now I remember. It's funny that we bring that scene up because when I was a kid, I love penguins. That scene made me laugh, even though it's just so stupid. But I was just like, penguins are funny. So
they are.
And then, so Homer's in trouble. He's sitting at the panel for punishment. We get this news clip. Not news, but this clip.
I would throw the book at you, but I've been indicted in the tailhook scandal. Goodbye. I, too, would punish you, but I'm under indictment for accepting bribes from military contractors.
I torpedoed a Carnival cruise ship.
Impersonating the First Lady.
All right, so a lot of different things here.
Right.
More political jokes with the Hillary Clinton
And the tail hook.
The tail hook one. Now, Jamie, do you know that one? Do you want to take it?
Vaguely, because I looked it up. I remember when I first watched this episode, I thought, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to look it up. And it was something. It was like a conference, right, that went crazy. Yeah. And they had all kinds of like sexual harassment and accusations of assault and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a big conference in Vegas, and a ton of people said they were sexually harassed.
Yeah. Apparently, and like it was not even by like low-ranking people, like high-ranking people were kind of like part of this very kind of gross culture that I guess they had let run crazy in this Vegas conference.
Yeah, more than 100 U.S. Navy and Marine Corps aviation officers allegedly were alleged to have sexually assaulted 83 women and 7 men.
Yeah.
That was the incident, 1991, Vegas.
It's crazy.
And then just brush over it in the Simpsons episode.
I mean, again, yeah, they just plop it right in there.
So it's hilarious, obviously.
Homer's off the hook. Oh, and a real quick trivia there. So they showed 5 people on the panel. The 5th one was a woman, but they cut her scene.
Yeah, they didn't even have her say anything.
How do you feel about that?
I always like to stand up for women's rights and opportunity in Hollywood, so I was not very pleased by that.
Yeah, unlike Jamie, before you say something like that, you have to say controversial opinion alert.
Controversial opinion alert.
Right, yeah. Just to be clear.
And that's it. I mean, then it shows like he's off the hook. The old janitor says it. They're walking away in the sunset. And I think it's a joke about Bart getting a tattoo. And there you have it. That's Simpson Tide.
All right.
Wow.
Shall we get some quick?
It was only twice as long as the actual episode.
I was saying, the recapping of it took a lot more than the.
We kind of went off the rails a little bit, but
here and there.
Whatever.
It's all good.
All right.
So
ratings,
who wants to do some ratings? I can go in real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Go, Ben.
First time I watched this, I would have been like 3. Like I didn't think it was necessarily a super great Simpsons episode. I like the Simpsons, but like and kind of the sub action was there, but not like as interesting as maybe I would have hoped. Kind of a very glossy version of kind of like submarine stuff. But I mean, the second time I watched it, and the third time I watched it, and then like the 4th time I watched it, I feel like the jokes actually I was starting to warm to them, and this time I actually had quite a fun time watching it, and I had gotten kind of used to all the jokes I didn't like. I knew they were coming. I kind of was like, whatever, let them pass by to get to the next joke that I did like. So I enjoyed it better this time. I'm gonna end up landing, I think, a 3.5 out of 6, something like that.
Out of 6?
Yeah, because usually for the submersibles they're doing out of 6.
I knew that
because it's smaller.
I knew that.
So a 3.5, you said?
Yeah.
All right, Ben, let's hear what you got.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it twice in preparation for this, once many moons ago, but we finally got around to recording it, so I watched it again, and I was still laughing out loud and had kind of already forgotten a lot of the episode, and it felt fresh again for me. I particularly liked the interchange at the Naval Reserve office about the officer there trying to silence Homer from.
I've got it muted right now.
Stating his sexual orientation. Oh, what a nice guy! I wonder if he's gay. I like that one a lot. Overall, I not a huge Simpsons fan, but maybe I could give it another shot as I am older now and would appreciate some of these jokes that I probably wouldn't have understood when I was 9 years old or however old when this came out. Overall, I think it was good. I'm going to give it a 5.
Ooh, out of 6?
A 5 out of 6?
5 out of 6.
All right, Kyle, you'll be last.
Okay, all right.
Because you're Kyle. All right, so I think we've all watched this one a lot in preparation for this episode. So I love The Simpsons growing up. It was dear to my heart, and I definitely recognize when the show changed, and I can't stand it. But this was still season 9. I still watched all of season 9. I still like season 9 enough. This episode's funny. I really like the joke at the beginning. It's my first day with Burns and Homer and Smithers. And then there's definitely a few other laugh out loud moments. For the sake of time, because I want to get to the rest of this, I'm just going to give it a 4. All right.
All right, a 4.
4.
So although I did a 10-page report on The Simpsons in college that I vaguely remember, I haven't watched a whole heck of a lot. I do respect the show, and then I think that it kind of made the way for a lot of the other shows like South Park and Family Guy and that type of stuff, things that we didn't have before.
Not Family Guy.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, obviously. And this episode did have jokes that didn't land with me, that I was just sitting there watching, and I don't even think it would have landed with me at the time. Granted, I would have been much younger, but it just didn't seem super funny. But then some of them I really did like the 17th line of defense between the Mississippi National Guard and the line of women's voters is like, all right, that's really funny to me. I don't know why, it just was. Still, one of the things that we kind of glossed over that I really thought was funny, though, was when he put the donut in the nuclear reactor, and then there was the hard cut, and just like the nuclear plant totally burning down.
Yeah,
I really thought that
minutes.
was funny. So for me, watching this, also the sub took about halfway to get through the episode.
Sure.
Ooh.
That is true.
It's gonna be like a 3.25.
Wow.
All right. All above halfway, though. All above 50%.
Yes. I think that makes sense. All right. So I'm going to be real quick about my stuff. Now, don't even have really trivia for this thing. We mentioned most of the stuff that I was going to say for trivia anyways while we were recapping this episode. So there wasn't anything much more other than to say that those 2 producers you mentioned, or the showrunners who left, the reason they were leaving is they were starting up a new show, The Critic. If you guys didn't remember that. Same thing with the writers. So those writers were actually already starting work on The Critic at the point that they were writing this episode. So that's why they all kind of jetted. And then when The Critic ended up going off the air, that's when he came back, the other guy, and started running the show again in season 13.
Nice.
The other thing, I'm not going to do anything about alternate casting. Who could you possibly cast in this? Other than, would you guys want to see Ed Harris in here?
Yeah, replace Bob Denver.
Perfect. Yeah, because he was actually he had his own animated show. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
It was called Ed Harris's Embarrassing Barrister. He played a barrister. And it was like the Magic School Bus where you rode around on this magic submarine. It's amazing. And he would go around
Magic submarine.
He would embarrass your dad. Like that was his thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, quick, sub worldwide.
Actually, no, can I quickly do Phantom Zone?
Engage the Phantom.
Phantom's engaged, sir.
This features Hank Azaria.
Yep.
Hank
Nice.
Azaria was in Godzilla, and I've used that in a whole bunch of cycles.
Wow, super easy.
Yeah, it's easy. That's why I need to jump in, just do it real quick, get it out of the way.
Jamie, cut in.
Can I get in?
Man. All right, so for subs worldwide, it's subs worldwide. The sub that Homer takes command of is the USS Jedediah. Jebediah.
Saying Star Wars.
What? Jebediah?
Jedi.
Oh, Jedediah. But Jebediah Springfield is the founder of Springfield, where Homer and the Simpsons live and love.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, Ben. This is Kyle. What do you got for us?
Brom facts. It's Brom facts. When you're going down, get you some Brom facts. When you're going down. All right,
Brom's going to talk. Maybe there's like a penis joke I can insert here.
What?
Oh, Jamie, you're so funny. All right, Ben.
So if you guys didn't pick up, Kyle and Jamie had to leave for bowling, so they left right before the very last segment and basically gave me a big middle finger. I'm doing Zach's job tonight because he kind of helmed the episode for us as a big Simpsons fan and big cartoon fan in general. So
I do like cartoons.
I did some research. I went to Encyclopedia Britannica and got some important facts and figures from The Simpsons, and these are the great and 100% accurate and true facts from Simpson Tide. Number 1. Speaking of first days on the job, writer Michael Oxbig joined the writer's crew and on his first day wrote the gay joke at the Navy Reserve office. During a read-through, guest star Bob Denver heard the joke and slapped his knee so hard at the joke that he broke his patella. Michael Oxbig was fired on the spot, and Bob Denver died from complications 7 years later.
I must have missed that in the news.
Yeah, I think with the 7-year difference between when he broke the knee and when he actually died, it took a little while, and the autopsy didn't come out until months later, and everybody had forgotten at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next fact, the episode was originally called The Incredible Mr. Simpson and featured Homer as a transmutated fish. Showrunners decided that the Homer fish looked too phallic, and those scenes were scrubbed from the episode we ultimately watched. The episode was renamed Simpson Tide because producers didn't think that the hunt for red Homer Tober rolled off the tongue.
Oh, that's awesome. I could so see that as Halloween episodes. For sure. They'll reuse that material.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta, change the fish shape a little bit and not, maybe put a little more hair on it.
Yes. Just a little bit.
Just a little more hair.
That's great.
Simpson Tide was removed from syndication. I don't know if you know this, Zach, but this one was removed from syndication briefly when rumors surfaced that Bart's earring featured a conflict diamond. The episode was later restored, though, when it was discovered that it was actually a cubic zirconia.
Oh, thank God,
Yeah, they really cheaped out on it. But it paid off. So
paid off by going cheap.
Yeah. So don't feel ashamed, guys, if that's all you can do is the cubic zirconia.
Yeah, don't go protesting the Simpsons now and, trying to get them off the air.
Yeah.
Things are okay.
Responsibly sourced diamonds.
Yeah.
This episode barely made it to air, though, in general, so not even talking syndication, almost didn't even make it to air. When producers ran the final cut of the episode across town to the station, they were dismayed to find that the TV station had been converted to a Starbucks.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Oh. Rod Steiger, a famous Method voice actor, nearly drowned when recording the torpedo tube scenes from his bathtub. And final fact of the night here, Hank Azaria, who plays Apu, enjoyed Rod Steiger's portrayal of a captain on this episode so much that he and Helen Hunt named their newborn son Gene Hackman. And
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zach/Brom facts. And that's the episode. In the Navy. Hey, Zach, you got your soundboard ready?
I do.
I don't know if you know this. This is a 100% true fact. This actually scored a 9.2 Nielsen rating for Fox the week of March 23rd through 29th, 1998. You know what it was second to?
What was it second to, Ben?
The second highest rated show, second to The X-Files.
All right.
I feel like we have more fun when Kyle and Jamie leave.
Thanks for listening to Submersion. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating on iTunes.